The Comfort Team, a new play by Deborah Bavort, was commissioned by Virginia Stage Company as part of its American Soil series. The play, which debuted at the Wells Theater November 2nd, takes on the experiences of an oddly assorted small group of Navy wives whose husbands are deployed in a small riverine squadron in Iraq. The squadron CO's wife, Chandra Rose, is a licensed clinical social worker from New York who arrives in Norfolk after her new husband has been called away on their honeymoon. She knows nothing about the Navy, its caste system, and arcane customs. As she picks her way through the minefield of the other wives' suppressed emotions, Erica Lavon's performance reminded me of the warmth, understanding, and intelligence of that remarkable actress Anna Devere Smith. That's a high compliment. Eileen Rivera plays the relentlessly perky Vicky Carino, the squadron ombudsman, who cannot allow herself to feel fear for her husband, who's in harm's way, but compensates by being obsessively organized. Sandra Struthers Clerk is the stiff upper lip wife who drunk dials late at night. Her life is falling apart. She's angry and lonely, but she's fine. Everything's fine. ODU student Lucy Bonino is amazing as the abrupt, desperate Jo, a teenage wife and mother who's living in her car because her husband didn't arrange money for her when he deployed. Her head is nearly shaved with a bright red mohawk. Her arms are heavily tattooed. You really don't expect to come to like her, but you wind up doing exactly that, much to your surprise. As the old gal, the slightly dotty admiral's widow, Mrs. Yates, who knows everything about protocol and how things should be done, Barbara Broughton has all the good lines and delivers them with surgical precision and superb comic timing. Luis Vega is Lieutenant Roberto Gonzalez, who in the first act delivers Chandra to her new home and returns at the end to deliver bad news. The women's chat room relationship with Barbie, whose husband is in a second riverine squadron, holds them all together. Texting and online, they can share the fears and speculation that they can't say aloud. Their text messages pop up projected on the back wall of the set, an excellent solution by projections designer Sean Duan, though I did hear someone behind me say, "I can't read any of that." Chandra and Jo freak out when they see on CNN a story about riverine casualties. But Vicky, the determined ombudsman, tells them it's not real until command says it's real. She herds them into making widow baskets, full of grim but necessary information for survivors. The surprise ending is a little too neatly shoved together. Everything gets tied up very quickly. As a result, the script feels more like a work in progress than it should. Perhaps revisions will be made, and while they're at it, they might fix some of the more glaring errors, like the lieutenant saluting Chandra, and indoors at that. Full disclosure, I was a Navy wife for many years. Much of the protocol referred to in the play, calling cards, visiting hours, etc., had fallen into disuse more than a quarter of a century ago. Since the play is set in 2008, their mention seemed quaint. The production values are excellent, especially the gorgeous Chesapeake Bay Bridge backdrop, which brightens at dawn and darkens at night with bridge lights leading the eye into infinity. It sets the mood and delineates time. Scenic designer Terry Summers Flint and lighting designer Jesse Klug hit the ball out of the park with that one. The set has some problems, though. The clutter of moving boxes works for the first scenes, but remains throughout the play, making subsequent movement awkward. Director Chris Hanna makes the best of it. Jenny Schaefer's costumes are pitch perfect, suiting the personalities and status of each of the different women of the Comfort Team. From the other side of the Footlights, I'm MD Ridge.